Hello again, I'm Nick Hennegan from Maverick Theatre Company, and welcome to chapter 15 of these diaries that I wrote, a stream of consciousness diary that I wrote back in 1997 when we were making a new play called A Ghost of a Chance. Someone actually emailed. Thank you so much for the comments. It's really nice to hear from you. Comments. You could comment down here on the YouTube thing as well, and you can subscribe as well. I know this. I think we've got 23 now. Woohoo! Which is brilliant. Thank you. I've had some emails as well, and someone said, how many episodes are there? Short answer is not a clue. I wrote these in 1997 in May, which was a very interesting, as it turned out, kind of slightly scary, stimulating time because I'd won this award to write this new play, and I just had to make it happen without much experience. And this is the journey of that. It goes elsewhere, as you probably know if you've seen a few of these, but I'm not sure how long it's going to go on for. And I'm just doing this as a result, randomly, as a result of a conversation with the television producer a couple of weeks ago. So it's May 2020, another time of extreme drama. Country's still in lockdown. The COVID virus has sort of shattered the world, really. We were supposed to be planning the Edinburgh Festival this year. It's not going to happen now. However, I am planning for next year. Today's been a really hot day. But I'm back inside, and in the grand tradition, I actually think in the grand tradition of 1997, cheers. I thought a couple of cheeky beers. I borrowed this from a local pub. It's not good to drink fizzy stuff when you're about to talk. But I'll get on with it. I actually don't think I was drinking much in 1997 because I don't normally drink at home. But at the moment, all the pubs are closed. So what choice have I got, eh? Okay, so back to the diaries. As I say, it was a stream of consciousness. The idea was that we would publish it the day before the opening night of A Ghost of a Chance, warts and all. And I'm reading it to you as it was written, warts and all. So I hope you'll understand that. I left you actually halfway through an entry, but I didn't normally do 2 entries in a day. But this particular day I did. It was, in fact, what was the date? The 9th of June, 1997. And I went out to, you probably know, if you've been following these, the system of auditions trying to find a young actor to play the part of Tim in A Ghost of a Chance. Paul Henry from Crossroads, he was always known as Benny in Crossroads, but a lovely classically trained actor. He played the part of Bob. It's only a two-hander and a voice, actually. So I went through quite a lot to try and find a young actor who could cope with the part. And that's where we are now. So, much later. No. I've just got back from the audition with the new boy, Justin. Everyone's up for him. He's lovely. But I noticed very early in the read-through that although he seems to laugh at some of the bits of humour, every time Bob's character, Tony in this case, says anything American, sort of to my mind, things like geez, Jesus, God, anything like that, he seems to freeze. The poor boy doesn't know it, but I'm locked on his eyes. I sit next to him under the pretext of reading his script, although it's not actually too much of a pretext because we only have 2 copies. I gave the 3rd copy to John Adams to make notes in. It's the worst possible version of the script for Justin to read for the first time because there's not been any editing for a year and I just keep throwing stuff in, as I've already mentioned. But I perceive Justin's not happy, or at least not fully happy with the script. Everyone's been telling me how keen he is, but I think Justin's worried by some of the things in there. And don't forget, this is a key bit of casting. I'm very cool at the end of the read-through, much cooler than I appear. In the interval, I say to John Slater as I'm about to buy the interval cokes, I think Justin might be bothered about bits of this script. I am, as I write this, very much on his side, but by the time we finish the 2nd act, I perceive something is really bothering him. I wonder if he's been brought up as a strict Christian, or if at least with a background that doesn't conform to what would today perhaps be perceived as a norm. He pulled me to one side about the point in the script where Luke says the entity has to say, "You little shit." He doesn't want to say the S word. And I can't blame him for this, but I feel slightly annoyed for some reason, for him and for me. I betray my agent by leaving him and his mom with a full copy of the script, rough though it is. I feel annoyed that everyone seems to have gone along with the idea of Justin playing Tim, even though I've gone to great lengths, as you will have by now read, to preserve the integrity of the boy. I think the instincts were telling me there might be a problem, having read the earlier entry. I was initially a bit vexed for Justin for somehow letting me down, even though I said I'll phone his home tomorrow. And who knows, he might still be up for it. Although, how can you blame anyone, especially a boy, for having principles? Well, you can't, pal. But now, as sleep avoids me and I sit at his typewriter, I realise Justin is just being himself. It's the system that's pissed me off somehow. We're just doing what we do, me and Justin. I'm annoyed that I feel so bad. I feel that we're both pure. It's everyone else who's playing the game. Oh, isn't that strange? Just like Bob in A Ghost of a Chance. Or am I just irked that the show isn't still finally cast? Tuesday the 10th of June, 1997. Well, I was raving a bit last night, was I not? Yes, I certainly was. Mind you, I said that I would celebrate the final casting by having an early night. So as I haven't cast Ghost of a Chance yet, completely, I go with John Slater to a little pub we know in the back streets of Borsall Heath in Birmingham that keeps very social hours. Let's call it The Crown. Not its real name, but I guess it is a bit illegal being open after time, even though it's closed most of the day. The Crown is run by Ken. Again, not his real name. Or is it? If you're a regular Maverick performer, you'll know where I mean. We often bump into members of UB40 and other Brum showbizarati. I hope I'm not turning into some kind of precious artist, but I'm really fed up about Justin. Not him personally, of course, but just the fact we're not cast yet. I want to go somewhere noisy and loud and have a few beers, so I don't have to think too much, so I do. What is it with this theatre thing, eh? There's a strange kind of almost depression hanging on me. Slater tries to sort me out. I keep telling myself it's only a flipping play, but the more I think about it, the more I realise I've become obsessed with the thing. A bit like I was with Wurzel Gummidge. See the earlier May entry. I phoned Betty Fox this morning, Justin's agent, and I was right. Justin's mother is concerned about two scenes. One where we see the real Luke, the entity, for the first time in the body of the boy. He puts Bob to sleep and says he's going upstairs to visit the babysitter. Nothing bad is spoken, but there's obviously an evil intent. That's the whole point of putting it in there. The other bit he's worried about is when Luke has to touch himself. I tell Betty to tell Justin's mum not to worry about that, because although it shows Luke's desire to stay in the boy's body, there's nothing too sexual about it. But what's too sexual? There has to be some sort of sexual intent to show the evil of Luke. But I know I can't be dictated to. My instincts tell me what I feel will work. It's not artistic angst or out like that, but I need to be responsible to the audience. I'm not writing this play to serve the actors, although I hope they will do well out of it, but it's for the audience. Everything I've ever done always has been. They're my pride concern. The audience is the whole reason why I started Maverick. It's the reason why I'm not making work for regular theatres. That's why we're in pubs. Sod it. I decide I need a holiday. It's been 5 years since Rebs, my girlfriend, and I last went on holiday. We went to Greece. Betty says she'll call Justin's mother and get back to me. All I can do is wait and consider the alternatives. Mind you, I know what I want to do if Justin isn't going to do the part, if he's too unhappy with it. I can't blame him. But it's a bit of a radical idea. 11th of June, 1997, 1 a.m. I might tell you later what my radical idea was, but for now, it doesn't matter. After lengthy discussions on the phone, Justin is going to be Tim in the production. And I'm pleased, apart from a shade of a dark moment when I called John Napier. John, for someone with no experience, did really well, but I've already mentioned this. I have a moment thinking that I've lost the plot somewhere. I'm ignoring the normal things in life, things like eating, or talking socially, or paying bills, or thinking about anything other than this bloody play. I suddenly, and very sadly, realise I've not had a shower for 4 days. I must stink. The only saving grace is that I remember reading Kenneth Branagh's biography, years ago, and apparently he had the same problem when he first started the Renaissance Theatre Company. But I'm not Ken Branagh with a reputation or money, and this is not a company that works with the likes of Judi Dench or Derek Jacobi. But mind you, I have actually worked with Sir Derek Jacobi. And we do have Paul Henry and John Adams. Or maybe more about Derek later. Oh, sorry, Sir Derek. But I think my over concern about working with kids has somehow turned on me a bit and come home to roost. Although, as I discovered from phone conversations, Justin and his family are committed Christians. My vibes about last night's read-through proved to be correct. This obviously does not in any way decrease Justin's talent, and I have more than a passing respect for anyone who holds that lovely belief and sticks by it. I spent some time on BRB Radio presenting talk shows about religion, and my elder brother Bob is a regular churchgoer. But this is a fairly new experience for me in terms of casting. We're at a second draft stage, which means that we don't have a finished script. But I spend hours on the phone today talking to Betty Fox, Justin's mom, about the nature of the piece and what he's prepared to say or not say, what should stay and what should go, and my desire to present a truthful piece of work. I'm in a really strange situation here because I'm the producer as well as the writer. Ordinarily, and it's how it works with the pub theatre, I would make producer decisions because as a writer I became a producer at the pub, usually after consultation, and that would be it. But in this case, eventually, after a day of discomfort, I give in as a producer, become just the writer, and as I don't have a producer to call, I phoned John Adams, my director, for reassurance that I'm not either corrupting Justin on one hand or compromising my writing on the other. John does the biz. He tells me we don't have to worry. We're not going to ruin Justin or upset his parents. The play, he says, is strong enough to stand on its own without the colloquial expressions that may upset Justin's parents. And why don't I come and see the show he's directed at RADA, the Royal Academy for Dramatic Art, in London on Thursday night? I love him for his truth and clarity of vision, and I understand why Kenneth Branagh also took a shine to him. I should go to bed early and get a proper sleep. We now have Tim. Justin will play the part, and I look forward to getting to know him. But I don't go to bed early. Instead, I go to a club in Birmingham in Hall Green, where my brother is chairman. I have a pint and talk to various captains of industry about insignificant things, like who will be the leader of the next leader of the Tory party, tiger economies, and the gross national product. I vow to try and have a lie-in and a shower tomorrow. Thursday the 12th of June, 1997, 2:30 a.m. I don't read through yesterday's entry like I normally do, and I don't have a lie-in. These diaries have started to worry me, as I think they become an obsession too. But I do luxuriate slightly in having finally cast a ghost of a chance. So today, I have a shower, and I have a proper meal, and I carry a picture of Justin to match the one I have of Paul Henry, who calls me about the revised second draft. I've just read this again. Carry photos. Yeah, obsessed is the right word. We go to see a drama college show at the Library Theatre in Birmingham tonight. It rains a lot. I'm off to London tomorrow. I think I should stay away from this diary stuff for a while and take a real break, but I probably won't. Oh, P.S. I forgot to mention, Justin has hairy arms. Does he, I wonder? No, Brian, blessed. Strangely, I notice his arms at the same point in the script as I did with John Napier. Yes, I must look at Act 1 again. I think a rewrite beckons. Okay, sleep. But before that, even though I know I've tried hard to look at Justin as a product to serve the production, already I find I quite like him. He knows about computers, you see, and I hope he's going to help me buy the right modem for this 486. Friday the 13th of June. Friday the 13th. Off to London this afternoon, but I must deal with my latest artistic acquisition first, loves. I write a letter of agreement to Justin's mum. That's what I did with John Adams and Paul Henry. None of this contract stuff, just a letter of agreement. I think it's a much friendlier that way. I hope it's not complete naivety on my part. Mind you, I wouldn't know what contracts to use anyway. I also write a letter to Justin, which I enclose here. Slater says, every time I talk with anyone under 16, I sound like I used to be a children's radio presenter. I remind him that I did used to be a children's radio presenter on BRB Radio in Birmingham for about 3 years. I presented a kids' show every Saturday morning called Razzmatazz and interviewed lots of famous people. He, rather humbly for him, says, "Oh yes, you were," and gets on with the rather sticky task of counting out 21,000 A5 leaflets for Up and Under at the Metro News. Ahem. 11th of June 1997, Justin A. Towler Esquire, West Midlands, B14 7QN. Dear Justin, welcome. It looks like we're in business, kid. I had a long chat with your mum about the script and the bits we were worried about, and I think we're all okay now. I'm really glad you'll be able to play the part, and so are John Adams and Paul Henry. John has loads of experience as a director, and I know you'll like him. He's also got a good eye for script, so I'm relieved. He's worked with all sorts of the star names in showbiz and theatre, and he'll bring out your talent and make you shine, so you're in a safe pair of hands. Paul Henry is known to lots of people for a part he played on telly in a soap called Crossroads a few years ago, but he's been acting for years. Although he was only observing during the auditions, he phoned me yesterday to ask about you. I had a long chat with him, and he really wants you as a son. After the auditions, and the other boys were good, I'd seen over 200 lads by that stage, all three of us agreed that you were our man. Although obviously I'd seen you before, so I was a bit biased. But it's nice when that happens, and it doesn't happen often. You are 50% of the cast in the play, but playing two different characters is something of an actor's dream. It'll give you a real opportunity to show off your talent. And as we're performing in a pub in Birmingham, it means we can all relax a bit in the knowledge that we're not instantly going to be reviewed by the big West End critics. It will be hard work, but it should be great fun. And on a personal note, I wondered if I might take you up on your kind offer to advise me on the best card modem to buy for my little laptop. Or are they called notebook computers these days? If you don't mind, maybe we could take a trip out to Byte or somewhere and you could be my personal advisor and the driving force behind getting Maverick online. Perhaps I can give you a call sometime next week. Thanks a lot for everything, and I look forward to seeing you soon. Kind regards, Nick. That's all right, isn't it? I want him to feel good about himself. And us. Yeah, that'll do. Kid show presenter indeed.